Mr. Dean's question down to its very essence, you face a growing challenge with financial crime. Meta don't always, it seems, answer the phone quickly enough to get stuff taken down. That engages a wider question, which maybe is one to come back in on writing, which is, in your work on financial crime, do you have requisite powers, or do you need more powers, and what would those powers be?
We are stepping up considerably on financial crime. As I said last year, we had record prosecutions, record criminal prosecutions across a range of areas, not just influencers, but also crypto, and indeed a lot of regulatory action on money laundering. I would be hesitant to come here and make a case for more powers. They would, of course, be beneficial, but these issues have been actively debated in very recent time in Parliament. So I don't think I would want to come back and say, it's our job now with Ofcom and others to implement what Parliament decided in the Online Safety Act and get on with it, not seek to reopen the debates necessarily. Although I do make the point around liability, I think the banks and the building societies have got a point when they say, when it comes to APP fraud and other forms of crime, they are having to pick up the bill and their customers are having to pick up the bill. But I recognise that that has been a political judgment that has been taken under successive governments.
How many prosecutions has the FCA initiated this year?
In 2024-25, the number was 21. I haven't got the precise figures for April and May this year yet, but I can share those with you. But it was a record number of prosecutions last year. One of the challenges that we do face, particularly for the complex cases, is when we charge. Obviously, we can't say too much more once we've charged, and it's taking 2 to 3 years to get a criminal court trial date. And that is a challenge because that consumes our resources, because we have to keep those cases going for a number of years and the case teams change, but we have to make sure that the case remains fresh. And secondly, there is a saying that justice deferred is justice denied, and the longer it takes to bring these cases to a conclusion, the more difficult it is for us to have a deterrent effect. But that is something that I think that is an issue in the justice system generally.
If I may, I think it's important that the prosecutions are prosecutions involving the influencers themselves, as distinct from the platforms, which I think goes to your point.
Yes, yeah.
And certainly I think we can write back on where we stand in relation to the powers we have to, for example, prosecute influencers, which is very different to the persuasive powers by and large we have, or lack of powers, or persuasive approach we take in relation to platforms. And that's pretty much where we stand. And that's I think that's a reflection on a debate around the origin of fraud, which is an important one.